So, J. Ruud, what lovable novel are we talking about today?
Well, Stacey Margaret Jones, I'll give you a hint. Maxwell's Demon.
I would guess Clockwork Orange. We hadn't already done it. It just sounds like that. I don't know is what I'm trying to say.
All right, then.
Welcome to Between the Covers, the weekly podcast in which author J. Ruud chooses one book for his list of the 100 most lovable novels in the English language, and I, author Stacey Margaret Jones, interrogate him about it. I can do that because I'm his wife. Anyway, so if you hear something
against such things,
if you hear something scuttling about, it's our Cavalier King Charles trying to make the couch into the absolute perfect, ideal, never been better bed. So she could take a nap while we podcast. Okay, so give me hint number 2, please. Wait, have I read this book?
no.
Okay. Then I have an excuse to fail. All right.
Clue number 2. We await Silent Tristero's empire.
Nada.
Waste.
Nada.
Waste. All right. Clue number 3. Oedipa Mass.
I'm going to guess this book that you've been carrying around, but I can't think of the title of that either.
Yeah.
So I guess I got no guesses.
All right. This is Thomas Pynchon's novel.
That's what I was going to guess.
Yeah. The Crying of Lot 49.
Yes, I was going to guess that, but I couldn't think of it because the title means nothing to me, so I couldn't remember it. Oh, man, I could have gotten it. I was so close. I saw it on your bedside table, and I was like, okay, I got to guess that soon. I really failed. I failed in cheating. That's how great I am.
You're the worst cheater I ever saw.
Probably. All right. So, before we get into some of the particulars of the list, the listicles, when did this book come out?
1966.
Oh, we're having a run on the 60s novels because last week we had Clockwork Orange, which I think you said came out in 62.
Yeah.
Okay. 1966. Okay. All right. And how long is it? It's short, right? It's a little guy.
It's pretty short. Yeah. The original publication, it was 180 pages, but the type was a little larger than it is in the more newer edition.
Oh, okay, so it's a short guy.
So the newest edition of it is 160 pages.
Okay. All right. So who else likes this book?
This book is...
Never an easy answer, apparently.
Well, this is another one of those books where many people out there will say, why are you picking Crying of Lot 49 instead of Gravity's Rainbow? When I was in graduate school, Gravity's Rainbow, which is actually the novel that followed this, it was Pynchon's third novel. Everybody in graduate school Gravity's Rainbow is the greatest book since World War II and all of this. And it was chosen by the Pulitzer Prize Committee unanimously for the Pulitzer Prize in 1974. But in an act that reminds us of the Sinclair Lewis days, the Pulitzer Board rejected the jury's choice and called Gravity's Rainbow turgid, overwritten, obscene in places, and generally unreadable.
So the Pulitzer Board doesn't like this book. Doesn't like Gravity's Rainbow.
Yeah, okay. The committee chosen to select the winner voted unanimously for Gravity's Rainbow. The board said no, and consequently, there was no Pulitzer Prize for fiction in 1974.
Okay.
And while there's nothing obscene about Gravity's Rainbow, whatever the board said, and it very well may be one of the most significant works of fiction in the second half of the 20th century. And while it probably should have been awarded the Pulitzer Prize in 1974, I find myself agreeing with one aspect of the Pulitzer Board's opinion. I find the novel darn near unreadable.
Oh, okay. And this is a list of lovable books.
Lovable, not necessarily the most significant or the greatest books.
Why you don't have Ulysses on this book?
And that's exactly the same reason.
Okay.
Although I find Ulysses more readable than Gravity's Rainbow.
Let's stop talking about Gravity's Rainbow.
Well, it wasn't for me. But the good news is
that you're going to answer my question.
Eventually, I'm going to answer your question. The Crying of Lot 49, which was Pynchon's second book, is 160 pages versus the 800 and some pages of Gravity's Rainbow.
Oh, there you go.
And you can get the things, I think, the things that are most likable about Thomas Pynchon's writing. There's a dark humor, cleverness, elusiveness, a flavor of 1960s society, plus the social critique and the postmodern sensibility that you get in Gravity's Rainbow, you also get in this book. Only more
So you're
readably.
the only one who likes this book?
No.
Who else likes
Let me
this
tell
book?
you who else likes this book.
Ruud.
No,
Focus.
so you said, okay. I like this book. It appears on Time Magazine's list of the 100 greatest novels since 1923.
All right.
It's also on the Atlantic's recent list of great American novels, which just came out in 2024. And they have 136 great American novels on that list, and this is one of them. It's on the College Board's list of the 101 great books recommended for college-bound readers. It's on Esquire's list of the 100 novels you must read in your lifetime. It also, interestingly, appears on the German magazine Der Spiegel's 2025 list of significant world texts called A Century of World Literature. So the 100 most significant world texts since 1925.
All right. So this is a kind of a personal aside. We were recently in a play, and the man who played Mr. Fezziwig, wasn't he asking you about Thomas Pynchon?
Yeah. He wanted to know if I'd read his most recent novel.
Oh, okay.
Which I didn't realize he had a very recent one.
Yeah.
So I had not read that one. No.
All right. You're not a Pynchon completist?
No.
Obviously. Did you finish Gravity's Rainbow?
Yeah, I finished Gravity's Rainbow. I haven't read a couple of his more recent, really long books, Mason and Dixon, for instance. The thing about Pynchon is he's a little bit like his contemporary postmodernist John Barth.
I have them in the same place in my brain.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've read anything by either one of them. But they kind of live in that file folder in my mind.
Well, Pynchon, I think, after Gravity's Rainbow, kind of started to slide down in people's memories. I mean, like Barth, people kind of forget about him, even though they keep writing books.
Yeah.
Although Pynchon probably not as much as Barth, because he did write a fairly recent novel, Inherent Vice, which became a major motion picture in 2008 or something like that. With an all-star cast. So that kept him, I think, in people's memories. But he reaches his peak, I think, in popularity, at least, and probably critical attention with Gravity's Rainbow.
Well, I mean, that's The Crying of Lot 49 comes out in 66.
66.
It's 26. So that's 60 years that he's writing novels.
Well, actually, more than that, because Crying of Lot 49 was his second novel. Yeah. His first novel was V.
Oh, okay. Well, let's not go down that route. We're getting too far afield.
But that's like another 10 years in the past.
Yeah.
So he's been writing novels for 70 years.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, that's all. Okay. So can you earn the Harps of Glory and restore yourself from last week's defeat? with the down and dirty summary.
I'm going to try real hard. The novel's protagonist is a woman named Oedipa Maas. She's a suburban housewife in Kinneret among the Pines, California, who's married to a disc jockey. She becomes the executor of the estate of her fabulously wealthy former lover, Pierce Inverarity. And in looking into his estate and his doings, she stumbles across the name of a group called Tristero, and she's kind of drawn into finding out what that is and what it's all about. And she goes deeper and deeper, delving into this until everywhere she looks, she's seeing something about Tristero. And that's all I'm going to say. Because basically, Oedipa is the female version of Oedipus.
Yeah, I think we got that.
So she's trying to solve this riddle.
Okay.
And Oedipus did solve the riddle of the Sphinx. If Oedipus solves this riddle, and we don't know, this is not part of the summary. I'm just...
When did the summary end?
The summary ended when you asked the question after I said, and that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, all right. All right. Well, then, Harps of Glory. I love how you always seem really like flummoxed by this challenge that happens every time. It's like it came out of left field. Who could have seen that you had asked me to do this? Good times. All right. So, is the lot 49 of the title, is that like an auction lot?
Yes, okay. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Because Tristero, it turns out, at least began as an undercover organization that was fighting against the monopoly of the postal service. And not in America. This is in Europe in the late 15th century is when they begin. Thurn taxes was actually the postal service for all of Europe at the time. And
you mean in the book?
In real life.
Oh, okay.
But also in the book.
Oh, okay.
And Tristero, which I don't think is real, but then who knows? They're this organization that objected to the postal monopoly, possibly on religious grounds. I'm not sure what. Neither is Oedipa. But it develops into something that occurs in American history. There's an attack on Pony Express riders back in the 19th century, and so it's this kind of spooky thing that's been around for hundreds of years as a kind of counterculture, an anti-government kind of organization.
Interesting. So how would you classify it in terms of type of fiction?
It's a kind of mystery.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds mystery suspense.
Yeah. Well, I was going to tell you why Lot 49 is an auction lot. There's a stamp collector. One of the many people that Oedipa talks to is a stamp collector named Genghis Cohen, who she has look over Pierce Inverarity's stamp collection. And he finds these stamps that are Tristero stamps. The Thurn and Taxis symbol was a post horn, a horn that the postman would blow. So it's like a trumpet. And there are some Thurn and Taxis stamps that Pierce has, or things that look like Thurn and Taxis stamps, but instead of a post horn, they have a muted post horn. A horn with a mute in it.
Right.
And you have to look really close to notice that. But those are Tristero stamps, or at least they think, or she thinks they are. But that is a symbol that she sees all around. Like one night when she's kind of going crazy with everything, she goes wandering the streets of San Francisco, I think she's in at the time. And she's walking through the dark. It's a kind of dark night of the soul. Every place she looks, there's a muted post horn, or there's a trash can or something with WAST on it, but it's W period A period S period T period E period, which stands for "We await silent Tristero's empire."
Oh my gosh.
And she meets this old kind of dying homeless guy under a bridge, and he thinks she's one of the messengers or mail bearers for Tristero, and he wants her to take this letter that he's written to I can't remember if it's his wife or but anyway, somebody that he really wants to communicate with, and she doesn't know what to do. She can't do it. She is dealing with this guy under the bridge.
Exhausted, hardly knowing what she was doing, she came the last 3 steps and sat, took the man in her arms, actually held him, gazing out of her smudged eyes down the stairs, back into the morning. She felt wetness against her breast and saw that he was crying again. He hardly breathed, but tears came as if being pumped. "I can't help," she whispered, rocking him. "I can't help. It was already too many miles to Fresno."
Yeah. So as she develops this and keeps trying to find out what this thing is, she gets more and more paranoid, but also because she seems to see it everywhere.
Right.
She sees this, or allusions to this so many places, that it seems as if everybody who's powerless, everybody who's been forgotten by the system, everybody who's
Marginalized.
everybody who's marginalized is a part of this Tristero. And I think that's where this quotation comes in.
It was not an act of treason, nor possibly even of defiance, but it was a calculated withdrawal from the life of the Republic, from its machinery. Whatever else was being denied them out of hate, indifference to the power of their vote, loopholes, simple ignorance, this withdrawal was their own unpublicized private. Since they could not have withdrawn into a vacuum, could they? There had to exist the separate, silent, unsuspected world.
Yeah. So, the 60s are associated with counterculture.
True.
And that, in a way, that's what Tristero is, but it's much more extensive than...
But it reminds me, it's that phenomenon where when you're going to buy a white Subaru, then suddenly you see white Subarus everywhere. So now she's become aware of this and she sees it everywhere.
Yeah.
And also, at the same time, it seems like the theme of the novel could also be that these kind of currents, these undercurrents of society are running all around you and you're blind to them until you're not.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't unsee it once you know it's there.
Yeah. And that could be what's happening.
Yeah. Interesting.
But she can never get beyond the possibility that this Pierce in Verity, who had all the money in the world,
yeah,
could have done this, could have set her up to go down this rabbit hole, and it's nothing but a trick.
Yeah. Just to play with it.
Yeah.
Why is his name so weird? I mean, what's going on with that name?
Well, in Verity means...
untruth or unverifiable or...
Yeah, I think it in Verity means untruth. And his first name is Pierce. So he pierces the untruth, or tries to get, or is at least for her, a means of getting to the truth, or getting through the untruth. Or maybe he is the untruth, because it could be.
Yeah, yeah.
She could be completely paranoid. This could be real, or he could be pulling a trick on her. And those 3 possibilities are always there,
right.
And you never know what it is that's actually happening.
Well, that is very postmodern, too, because it takes apart the world you see around you that beforehand we were all kind of instructed to believe in, right?
Yeah.
You put your foot down, there will be ground there. We all agree on the ground, right?
Yeah.
And there's no agreement, right? And there's maybe no way to verify what is real.
Yeah.
Especially when you have it from a dead man, right?
Yeah. There's no
that's-
way to check with him.
That's a wrinkle, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because his consciousness has been wiped.
Yeah. And
So-
she is no longer able to connect to him in any way.
What is lovable about it then? It seems pretty confusing.
Well, it's confusing. It's lovable because it's, for one thing, it's hilarious. I mean, I haven't told you the funny things.
Yeah.
But there's something hilarious going on all the time. But besides that, there are some serious issues about, our perceptions and about truth that it gets into. I want to talk about three things, three parts of the book that I found lovable.
Okay.
One of them, early in the book, there's Oedipa recalls visiting an art museum in Mexico City with Pierce, where she was deeply moved by a painting by the Spanish surrealist Remedios Varo.
Is that fictional or is it
I believe it is actually true.
Okay.
And the painting is entitled Embroidering the Earth's Mantle. And in the painting, there are 6 maidens imprisoned in a tower, perpetually weaving a giant tapestry, which flows out the windows of the tower and fills the void outside. There's a quotation.
A kind of tapestry which spilled out the slit windows and into the world, seeking hopelessly to fill the void. For all the other buildings and creatures, all the waves, ships, and forests of the earth were contained in this tapestry, and the tapestry was the world.
Yeah, so that becomes a symbol of Oedipa's search. Because there's also another thing that you see multiple times in the story is her looking in a mirror. And she wants to know and can't know if everything that she's seeing is just coming out of her own consciousness, like the tapestry in the painting. Maybe that's all there is in the world is what we perceive. So she can't be sure. She's like the women in the tower. She can't be sure whether the world outside the tower of her own consciousness actually exists or is a product of her own embroidering mind.
Well, all of us, our only reality is what we perceive. I mean, we can adjust what we are able to perceive, right?
Yeah.
But that's the only reality we can have.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it also feeds her paranoia because it's like, it's just, am I just imagining everything?
Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean the world isn't out to get you.
That's true. That is absolutely true. Second thing is my very favorite part of the book. There's a long section of her attending a play called The Courier's Tragedy. It's a Jacobean revenge tragedy.
Does that exist?
That play doesn't, no.
Oh, okay.
But in reading the summary of it as she's watching it, anybody who's familiar with the plays of Webster or Turner or Middleton, the revenge tragedies from the English Renaissance, they'll recognize, something like that happens in this play, and something like that happens in that play. And this is like the Duchess of Malfi. This is like the Revenger's Tragedy.
So it's true to the genre.
It's very true to the genre.
Okay.
For instance, there's an Avenger whose name is Encircle at the end of the first act, who tears out the tongue of a faithless confidant, impales it on his rapier, and then sets fire to it, madly crying out as he's waving this around. The pitiless unmanning is most meet, thinks Encircle, the zany paraclete. Descended this malign unholy ghost, let us begin thy frightful Pentecost. Pentecost is the flaming tongues.
Right.
And if you know John Ford's play, 'Tis Pity She's a Whore, the the character comes out in the last act with his lover's heart upon the tip of his sword. So it reminds you of scenes like that. And this whole thing reminds you of scenes like that. Oedipa actually heard about this play. This is what happens is she hears about something from somebody else, and then she has to go and interview somebody or see what they're talking about. But when she first gets to San Narciso, which is Pierce Inverarity's hometown, she stays at the Echo Motel. There's all these classical allusions.
Right.
So Narcissus, of course, is the character who's all climbing inside his own head, looking at the mirror of himself in the pool. So that goes along with the tapestry and the mirrors and stuff. Anyway, Echo is in the myth, the woman who loves him. But in this motel, the guy who mans the desk is part of a band that has Beatle haircuts and sings their songs with a British accent. You can tell by other clues that the book came out in 1966, but it seems to be set in 1964.
Okay.
So, it's Beatlemania. And anyway, they have this band, and the band has these groupies, and one of the band's name is the Paranoids, by the way. Mm-hmm. And one of the groupies of the Paranoids, this woman says, hears her talking offhandedly about Pierce Inverarity, and she has found out that he had ties with the mafia. There are the bones of World War II veterans at the bottom of this pool, and he was going to get the bones up and use them as charcoal. And the groupie says, "Oh my gosh, that sounds like something that happened in this play I saw last night." Uh-huh. So she goes to see the play, and there is something about the bodies at the bottom of a pool that are going to be used for charcoal. But this scene toward the end of the play has a messenger who has been attacked, and there's one line in the play that mentions Tristero.
Oh.
And that's what gets her going.
Sure.
What in the world has Tristero got to do with this? And then she tries to find a copy of the play, but no copy of the play that she finds has that line in it.
Oh,
and she finds out from somebody else later on that there's a variant version of the play that has that line, and it's in the papal library. Mm-hmm. So you had to somehow get into that library to find that line. Anyway, that's
it's
part
like
of the
game of telephone too. Like, she hears from someone who tells her about something, it's all secondhand and
yeah. And the characters on stage, when they hear the word Tristero, it strikes fear into their hearts, and they're like paralyzed. And she finds out that this was all in the director's imagination. She's not sure where he found that line, but the character's reactions to it is all something that the director said they ought to do. So she doesn't know what's true. But that section is just one of the reasons I love this book. That whole section about the courier's tragedy. It's such a fascinating play with...
Oh, okay. Play within the novel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's the way it sort of satirizes the revenge tragedy genre. Mm-hmm. And the third part that I think is particularly interesting, and it's really the most important section of the book in terms of theme, but it's a scene that doesn't help Oedipa at all in her investigation. It doesn't push it forward. Or forward the plot in any way. But she encounters this guy named John Nephrastus. She has learned about Maxwell's demon, which is a 19th century thought experiment concocted by James Clerk Maxwell. And this is true. This isn't just something in the book. in which he tried to challenge the second law of thermodynamics, which is, as you probably know, entropy, the law of entropy.
Okay.
So that's the second law, and it holds that in a closed system, entropy cannot decrease over time. Entropy is disorder. So in a closed system, eventually everything's going to become disordered.
Right.
And this becomes important in modern physics because of the notion that the universe is a closed system, which means that ultimately the death of the universe will occur not in some explosion or something, but because of entropy, that everything's going to become static and without any order. So we might exert energy to straighten things. Like, for instance, I might exert energy to straighten the house. But over the next few days, everything's going to be disordered again.
Disordered.
And I've lost energy, which means there's a loss of order. So even if you expend energy, if you work to make things better, you've lost energy, so you've lost something that brings order to the universe. Anyway, in this conception of Maxwell's demon, Maxwell imagines a big box in which there is a demon who sorts out molecules in a particular way without exerting energy. And this guy, Nephrastus, that's the name that means contrary to God's law. He has built this machine that he says contains Maxwell's demon. And you work it by looking at this picture of Maxwell. And if you're a sensitive, you're able to telepathically communicate with the demon in the machine. And so no work will have been done and no energy expended, so you can sort the molecules without losing energy, and so you can reverse the law of entropy, but only if you're a sensitive. Anyway, Oedipa tries it, and she can't do it, so she's obviously not a sensitive.
This is one of your favorite parts of this book?
Well,
it just sounds bizarre.
It works because it's a symbol in the novel. Oedipa herself is serving in the role of Maxwell's demon in San Narciso and in America itself. She's trying to reverse the entropy that's breaking down the order of society. And she's trying to create order out of the disorder that's deliberately being wrought by Trastero.
Okay.
Silent Trastero's empire is going to be the ultimate downfall of any ordered society.
Okay.
If the second law of thermodynamics is truly law, then any order Oedipa may restore can only be temporary. But basically, she's Maxwell's demon. Okay. So it's a symbol of what she's doing in the whole novel. So in the end, like most postmodern texts, Crying of Lot 49 is characterized by paranoia in the face of technology and late-stage capitalism. Self-reflexiveness. Oedipa herself is always self-reflexive. And particularly indeterminacy.
Right, which is the vagueness and ambiguity of the environment.
The lack of finding a meaning.
Right. What is reality?
Yeah, Oedipa's questing for the meaning of Trastero, the reality of the world, of the United States at least. And she has not found it by the end. She's gone to the...
Are you spoiling this novel?
No, I mean, because it's indeterminate, there is no actual truth I can tell you about the end. The Crying Lot 49 will be the auction. They're auctioning off much of Pierce's valuables, and the stamp collection is one of them, and Lot 49 is the part of his stamp collection that contains the Trastero stamps, and she's going to see who bids on it.
Oh. Oh, okay. Well, some suspense.
It's all suspense. You just never.
It sounds like some deep cuts, though, also. I mean, I can see why a literature professor would like it because there's a lot of allusions to other things.
There's all kinds of allusions.
Especially medieval and Renaissance themes.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Like, okay, that's interesting in a postmodern package.
Yep.
All right. Well, why might someone not like this novel? I can think of it.
They might get frustrated because she keeps going over different things and talking to different people and never seems to get any closer. There's the next step, but whether that brings her any closer or not, you have to find out.
Well, it sounds in mood a little bit like Kafka or Ishiguro existential novel, Unconsoled. It's like, it's always kind of this like stressful, I have to get here, I have to do that, and there's no resolution. It just keeps going, and
it's very
you don't have
Kafkaesque though.
Power over yourself, right?
Yeah,
there's an exertion of power on you and force on you that you can't control, or Anyway, well, that sounds relaxing. Why? Okay, okay. All right. Well, how do you rank it?
All right, I'm putting this at number 35.
Oh wow, that's pretty high.
Yeah, right. It's right before The Once and Future King. They have really no relationship, I don't think.
No.
But right after Pale Fire.
Oh wow, well yeah, those are some quintessential postmodernism.
Yeah, Pynchon actually was a student of
Nabokov's. Oh, interesting. Okay.
And Nabokov, somebody told Nabokov that, and he said he didn't remember him.
Burn.
Well, he had a lot of students, and Nabokov's wife, who apparently helped him grade things or read people's works that they handed in, said she remembered him.
Oh,
she remembered him because of his handwriting.
Was good or bad?
Well, she said it was kind of a mixture of printing and script.
Interesting.
So, but when they told Nabokov that Pynchon's first novel was named V, just the letter V, he laughed and said that was great. He thought that was brilliant. Also, in this book, Oedipa's husband, I mean, we didn't talk about him at all. She actually doesn't have much to do with him. He's kind of has all these affairs. His name is Mucho Mas. He's a disc jockey who's, by the end of the novel, he's gone kind of crazy on LSD, and he thinks he hears secret messages in every record that he plays. But he has this thing of he has affairs with girls, not women.
So you mean girls in the actual sense, not in the when we say girls, but which I don't like it when people say girls, but they mean women.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is seems to be kind of a little throwback to Lolita.
Right. Who is a girl?
Who is a girl and who is a Nabokov's character.
Yeah.
So there's a wave to Nabokov kind of.
Yeah. All right.
Okay then. Must be time for Chaos Reader.
Yes. So in keeping with the theme of the year, which is checking in on books, since I'm not going to be racing through any, I thought we'd check in on the book we're reading aloud, The Sound of the Mountain by Yasunari Kawabata. And at first I found this book a little perplexing because it was hard to kind of follow who was who. There are a lot of characters, right? Like there's the main couple, which is the older couple, and then their sons and daughters and in-laws and the son's lover and there's a lot of people. And at first I was like having trouble keeping track of everybody. But we're on page 204 out of 276, and now I'm getting a handle on who's who. And I honestly like it. It does remind me of other Japanese of Murakami a little bit in that it has this kind of. I mean, I know that Murakami and Kawabata were reading in translation, right? But it has a kind of lilting kind of austerity in the text that's really beautiful, I think, and kind of meditative. I don't know. I mean, there is a plot. It's, it's just about this family and the lives of this Japanese family, and that the main characters are the seniors in the family. And that's really what the theme of the novel is about, what it's like getting old. And the main character, Shingo, is kind of looking at his son's behavior and his daughter-in-law and his daughter and his grandchildren, and he has feelings about their behavior, and he has his own affections that maybe, he's criticized for. And I don't know, I'm really starting to like it. And I feel when we open the book and start reading, I feel really pulled into this family's world. And so I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad we chose it. Did you say that Kawabata has won the Nobel Prize?
Yeah, I think he's a Nobel Prize winner.
Yeah.
Yes, Yasunari Kawabata. The Sound of the Mountain.
Yeah. It's really beautiful. A really
beautiful
like
rendering of the predicament of old age.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think he kind of shows it in the day-to-day family life, because they live together in multi-generational family life. So it's not, us, your kids live in their own houses with their kids, right? And it makes you think about what it's like, the positives of having the grandparents there, right? But also the negatives, right? Because generationally you're going to have distance, right? And tension. And also just people, maybe you don't like everything your kids do. And maybe you like things that your in-law, your kid's spouse does, but you're supposed to be loyal to your kid. You know what I mean? It's just all those dynamics. I think it's really interesting. And of course, there's some of those natural motifs, the things that they like in their garden, and the birds that they see. And I don't know, I'm really enjoying it. I'd never heard of this author before. And I like it. I would read other books by him. So that's Chaos Reader.
Okay.
All right. So we'd like to thank our listeners and our viewers and our producing sensei, Jerry Bruno, who also does the art for our YouTube. Please go over to YouTube and subscribe, even if you don't plan to watch us. It helps. Everything helps. And tell your book-loving friends about our podcast. Maybe they'll find a book that we talk about they haven't read yet, and we'll convince them to read it. So, like The Crying of Lot 49. All right. And we will see you next week. Between the covers.
Yeah.